A last question. I really want to ask you about messaging. We have huge protest movements, many of them driven by young people who feel enormous urgency around this issue. And also,
Mm.
we know there's misinformation that gets spread on the internet. There are a lot of people who throw their hands up. What, in your view, can be done to help spread this key message? And where do young people and
Mm.
other minorities and women fit
Yeah.
into making this message heard around the world?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think let me first talk about the role of women. I think
Right.
it is
It's
that I think
interesting.
that they play two very important roles, being a woman as well and a woman scientist. I feel very
Right.
passionate about this. And we have talked about the fact that vulnerable people are more exposed, had a higher risk of the impacts of climate change. And women usually are more vulnerable as well. Women have less of a voice in decision making. So you can think about women of being more vulnerable and being sort of victims of climate change. And this is why it is important to have a gender perspective when you design and implement instruments to address climate change. So that's an important part.
Mm.
But then the other thing is not only that, but I think we also play a very important role in the solution.
Mm.
Culturally and historically, women have been in many of our societies in charge of the caretaking of society, caretaking of children, caretaking of elderly. And at the end of the day, what we are talking about here, this is a relationships crisis. Climate change and global warming is a symptom of a bad relationship that we have
Right.
with nature, but also among
Mm.
ourselves. And so we have to change the way that we work together to be more collaborative than more competitive. So I think there
That
women can also play an important role. And this was also something that we learned very clearly in Antarctica. Antarctica is a continent of very
Minister
extreme situation where
Rojas,
collaboration is important.
that's